Welcome to Brilliantly British. My name is Lawrence and today I'm going to show you how to make a chicken, leek and bacon pudding. So as I show you how, please sit back, relax with a cup of tea in hand, putting those feet up too, and enjoy this episode. And don't forget to subscribe. So far on the channel, we've surprised you with some of Britain's best savoury and sweet steamed puddings. And well, never being ones to rest on our laurels, in this episode we'll be sharing our recipe for yet another. This, my friends, is a steamed chicken, bacon and leek pudding. Simply put, it is what it says on the tin, and yet manages to be so much more. Step by step, we'll share the ingredients and steps involved in its preparation before crowning things off with a session of tasting at the end. So now, with your interest peaking, please allow me to introduce the ingredients to you. For today's Brilliantly British bacon, chicken and leek pudding, you will need some leek, some chicken, some good quality bacon, some white pepper, some flour, some suet fat, a lemon and some parsley, followed by a sprinkling of salt to avoid the occurrence of bland food. And that, my friends, is all you will need for today's bacon, chicken and leek pudding. But before you get started, please, before you do anything at all, switch on your kettle, brew yourself a nice cup of hot tea so that you can sip on that whilst you cook. Now, off camera, I butchered my chicken and set the bones on a tray and the meat on a plate nearby. The bones were then drizzled with oil before being slid into my preheated oven to roast for an hour, leaving me and you with some free time on our hands, which I think would be a perfect opportunity to sip on a cup of tea with some Brilliantly British content in hand, making sure, of course, to like and subscribe. Thank you. Once bronze and aromatic, transfer your bones to a suitably sized pot to boil in water for an hour, after which the bones should be extracted and discarded, with the residual liquid being passed through a sieve to yield a delicious chicken stock. Finish the stock, turn in lemon juice, lemon zest and ground white pepper, combining thoroughly with a whisk before setting aside for later on. For the suet pastry, in a bowl combine flour, suet and salt with your fingertips or a food processor until sand-like in consistency. Then proceed by trickling in cold water with the aid of a wooden spoon before becoming more involved by kneading the contents for a minute or two to form a cohesive dough. Following on, upon a well-floured surface, before progressing, cut off and keep a quarter of the dough for later, continuing thereafter by rolling out the larger piece of dough until large enough to comfortably tuck into your greased and flour-coated pudding bowl. When tucking the pastry in, it's important to take your time while being aware that if the pastry tears, it can always be patched with another piece. Nevertheless, once in place, rest your pastry-lined bowl in your fridge for later before turning your attention to the remaining quarter, which should be rolled out in order to sufficiently top your pudding bowl. Now, with the pastry resting in the fridge, for the filling, liberally coat your diced chicken, bacon and chopped leek with flour, followed by some chopped parsley. Then, with the filling made, proceed by filling your bowl with the floured mixture before recalling your stock, which at this point should be seasoned with salt, and then poured into your bowl and over the filling up to a centimetre from the top. Thereafter, recalling your other sheet of pastry, which should be pressed on top, with the excesses trimmed away, before finally folding the edges in to thoroughly seal in the contents. To prepare the pudding for steaming, pleat, fold a sheet of baking paper and grease one side liberally with butter or an alternative solid fat. Set the paper atop the pudding, greased side down, covering the bowl and paper after with a sheet of pleat folded foil. And then, with care and time taken, secure the sheets of paper and foil, leaving room for the pudding to expand, and if you're feeling confident enough, engineer a handle for yourself, which will make the pudding much easier to remove when cooked later on. To cook, in a suitably deep pot filled with boiling water, with a metal pastry ring laid in as a seat for the bowl, carefully lower the pudding, ensuring that it's level and well seated before covering with your lid to steam gently for a few hours, making sure to maintain the water level, which should be at the bowl's midriff. A few hours later, the pudding was removed and, crucially, left to rest for 30 to 45 minutes before any attempts to remove it were made, lest it collapse, like a steak and kidney pudding I made a few moons ago. Now, once rested, to pry the pudding out with a soft spatula, gently prod between the bowl and the pudding, set a plate atop, and overturn to reveal a reserved and understated looking pudding. Now, knowing that the surprise lies within, and with your interest peaking, I think it's high time for tasting, tasting, tasting. Are you ready? Are you steady? 3, 2, 1. Not bad. Okay. Aside from this being a deliciously moist and subtly flavoured filling, it's beautifully spiced. It's wonderful. It's not what I expected it to be. The leek, of course, is a predominant flavour, and that actually is well balanced with the bacon and the white pepper, and you've got the lovely aromatic lemon coming through as well, which adds a lovely freshness to this relatively heavy, stodgy dish. And it's lovely and moist and juicy on the inside. It's perfect, perfect. And of course, you've seen how easy it is to cook. It's one of those puddings, one of those dishes that is an age-old recipe. Suet pudding, of course, is a very old thing that was invented in the UK. And I really think it's due for a revival. Really, it's amazing. And look, with all of that being said, you've seen how easy and simple it is to make. The ingredients are few and are very easy to get hold of. All you need is leek, bacon and chicken and the spices and herbs, and you've got yourself this fantastic pudding. So go out, get the ingredients, I implore you please, and make this dish, please. Thank you all for allowing me to show you how to make a chicken, leek and bacon pudding. Knowing that you loved this episode, don't forget to click on the like button, the subscribe button and the notification button so that you don't miss any of our new releases. Please tell everyone, and I mean everyone, about the Brilliantly British food on this channel, and follow us on all of the social media platforms that this channel is on. And I will see you